The European Union has decided they just must take down Elon Musk and free speech. Today we'll tell you what's really behind the raids in Le Paris as they try to destroy the man of SpaceX, XAI, Tesla, and oh why? Well, we know, and we'll show it to you right now. He's likely to not only be the richest man in the world, but the leader of perhaps the largest media empire the world has ever seen. Entertainment? Yes, indeed. News apps? You betcha. And folks, we're here to feed you the news you need to know, the real truth, why the EU is waging war against Elon Musk and free speech. As we do so, click the like button, drop a comment down below, let us know your thoughts, and let's dive in. It's a spicy one today. Elon Musk is none too happy after the French government has raided X. Elon Musk declaring at 3:35 p.m. Eastern Time on February 3rd, this is a political attack. What's he talking about? Well, if we click here, French judicial authorities raided X's Paris office today in connection with a politicized criminal investigation into alleged manipulation of algorithms and purported fraudulent data extraction. We are disappointed by this development, but we are not surprised. The Paris Public Prosecutor's Office widely publicized the raid, making clear that today's action was an abusive act of law enforcement theater designed to achieve illegitimate political objectives rather than advance legitimate law enforcement goals rooted in the fair and impartial administration of justice. That is a lot, folks. Let's get to it. What's really going on? Elon Musk says this: nobody has fought harder for full release of the Epstein files and prosecutions of those who did wrong to the little ones more than I did, knowing full well that the legacy media and the far left and those who are actually guilty would, 1, admit nothing, 2, deny everything, 3, make counter accusations against him. Elon says that he knew he would be smeared relentlessly, despite never having attended the parties of Und Epstein, or been on the express plane, or set foot on the creepy island, or done anything wrong at all. Nonetheless, the extreme pain of being accused of being the opposite of who Elon is, he says, was worth it. Talks about it was necessary to protect the kiddos. He's also going far beyond. He says they need to release Epstein's videos with the victims' images blurred. He recorded everything. That will eliminate all doubt. I am in none of them, but many prominent people, especially on the left, are game over. And within just a small amount of time, Elon also was taking steps and is taking steps to perhaps have the largest company in the world combining XAI and SpaceX together. And there is some belief that he'll combine Tesla next too. Now, the reason this lands inside our level of interest when it comes to entertainment is because Elon Musk is rapidly building the largest tech and media company in the world. For X is perhaps the largest media app, at least definitely when it comes to news media, the largest app in the world, the most popular in the world. We'll talk about that in just a minute. Combining X with SpaceX is a huge, huge deal. The reason for that is once Elon does so, and he's doing so, then all of that video generation with AI and all that stuff and all the videos that he wants to put on X and he wants to compete against other platforms, including the one you're watching this on, it can be beamed down from space anywhere you are on the planet, and there's no way for countries to block. Listen to me again, folks. There's no way for countries to block free speech all over the world. Now, you can dislike Elon. Got no problem with that. You can dislike the policies on X. I got no problem with that. Maybe you've been banned. Maybe you're not on there. Maybe you were Paul Chattoed at some point, but you never came back. Gotcha. But, folks, the largesse of what would happen here is the opportunity for Elon Musk to beam into every single place, from Antarctica to the Arctic, from Greenland to Iceland, from China to New York City, everywhere and in between, access to the media and no way to stop it. That's what's on the table here. And we can talk about Tesla and Optimus and all that another time, but that's what's on the table here. And thus it is that within this time frame of Epstein and the combining of the companies, that France sent a police raid to the X offices in Paris. And they're now summoning Elon Musk.
Yeah, if I were him, I'd tell them pound sand. And you're right. It's the largest part of free speech, because Elon would offer direct access, not just to communication platforms, but to the internet, everything. the world.
With the largest company in the world.
Yeah, and look, I mean, it's coming. I mean, the reason that SpaceX is going to roll in with XAI is many-fold. I mean, this guy understands once that goes public in an IPO, he'll have the 2 largest corporations on the globe immediately.
Let's read what happened here from DW.com. French police alongside Europol searched the office of Elon Musk's social media platform X in the French capital on Tuesday, the Paris prosecutor's office said. The platform, formerly known as Twitter, is being investigated for a litany of alleged offenses, including boosting engagement for far-right extremist content, i.e., this is 100% political, i.e., France is making the claim that the algorithms are in favor of a particular political ideology that they don't like, thus the police are coming in. And it says for allowing the company's AI chatbot, that would be Grok, to create sexualized deepfake images of women and children. And I'm just going to tell you, folks, what they're doing with Grok is the same thing that can be done with Photoshop and anything else. Anything else. I don't know about the kids. I seriously doubt that Elon is allowing that. I think they probably shut that down with haste. But listen, if you want to draw a woman in a bikini, you want to draw a culture in a bikini, you can do it. There's nothing stopping you. You have free expression. I don't know why you want to do it. I'm not the one doing it. But France is trying to say that something you could do with Adobe Flash, if it was still around another day, or with
Photoshop
elements, or Illustrator, or with your pen and paper, folks, you can. They're going after this. This is ludicrous, the stuff they're going after. Really and truly.
Realize that, for background removal or for even clothing removal, Canva is your friend. I mean, there are 1,000 other ways to go about getting this stuff done. I mean, you want to put Keir Starmer in a bikini. First of all, that's funny. Second, he deserves it. And third, you can use almost any art program to do that now. Even probably Paint. Paint actually removes backgrounds. I mean, you can lasso and circle things you want to pull out of images, and you have been able to do that for, 25 years?
This is the most ninny-nanny kind of thing you've ever seen. The idea that you can't parody other people by drawing them in an outfit just because they don't like it. I'm sorry. As long as it's not revealing other stuff, I'm sorry, you just can't stop them. They want to draw you in a kilt? Have at it. It goes on to say, this is where we know it's even more political. Prosecutors have also filed requests for voluntary interviews of Musk and former ex-CEO Linda Yaccarino on April 20th. Paris prosecutor's office posted on the X platform itself to confirm the ongoing raids before saying it was leaving and telling its followers to join in on other platforms. Quote, at this stage, the conduct of the investigation is based on a constructive approach with the aim of ultimately ensuring that the X platform complies with the French law as it operates on the national territory. But it goes on to say, we're out of here. We're going to other platforms. So if you want to follow what we're up to, you got to leave X and go there. So, folks, that's where we are right now with that. What's this all really about? We'll get to the panel in just a second. I want to play this one more time. Elon Musk says Sanchez is the true fascist totalitarian. Why? Because, folks, this is not just France. You might think it's just France. It's not just France. All of the EU, large swaths of Europe are involved in this, all simultaneous. Here is the head of Spain speaking out about free speech and what should and should not be allowed.
Starting next week, my government will implement the following actions. First, we will change the law in Spain to hold platform executives legally accountable for many infringements taking place on their sites. This means that CEOs of these techno platforms will face criminal liability for failing to remove illegal or hateful content.
What is the illegal and hateful content, ladies and gentlemen? We just showed you. They're mad that the algorithm is promoting what they call far right. But what they call far right just might be what they don't think is all right, what's a challenge to their political position. This is total censorship, and this is them criminalizing free speech.
Free speech, yeah. And look, when I saw this today, I knew this was definitely going to be a point of contention for anybody in the United States or most Western countries. And I think you very astutely pointed out that it's the EU countries that are largely the violators of people's rights. free speech. And strangely, the UK decided to join in and try to, play bully against the US. The U.S. has, unfortunately, and I hate to say this, but they have a bigger stick to work with. And if Donald Trump tells Musk, you have no obligation to go over there and hang out with those people who are definitely going to put you in prison. I mean, I think that's a smart guy to listen to, because I think he's got a giant military that will say, hey, we're going to protect American free speech. We're going to protect American companies, and we're not going to allow you to play silly political games with us. And look, for all the power in the world that Spain may have, or all the power of the screen doors that they have in France, I don't think they want to pick a fight with America, because that's really what they're doing. It's not just with Elon Musk. It's with our liberties and freedoms and our ability to speak our mind, because that's what they're trying to stop.
The thing is,
mock. Go ahead.
They do want to pick a fight with America, and the reason is it distracts their people from their failure as a government. The Spanish
but it's not
economy,
working anymore.
Well, they know no other tricks. Remember, when we talk about freedom of speech, it does not exist the way we know it in any of these countries. The French legal roots of their alleged freedom of speech go back to the French Revolution, where, yes, you have freedom of speech, and we have freedom to chop your head off if you violate what we think is good.
Guillotine censored a lot of people.
The Spanish economy is absolutely in tatters thanks to this guy. Let's pick a fight with Elon Musk and America, because it'll distract people.
Germany went complete self-unaliving empathy and removed their ability to produce their own power and control their own destiny, and destroyed their industrialization. Germany went from the debt-free country to the one that's about to owe everybody everything. And we're continuing to look at the degradation of Europe because of these extremist policies that come along with this marvelous world called progressivism. But there's no better example of complete failure than directly to our north in that fellow Carney, who's trying to implement the same things. I mean, that guy is a human joke every single day, and he's losing otherwise what would have been part of a sovereign nation to their idea of being sovereign states, if not territories or their own nation states, like maybe Saskatchewan, maybe Alberta, maybe, some other territories like the Yukon. These are significant portions of their economy that are willing to walk away from the nation for lack of the ability to exercise their rights or have any element of equality within the governmental structure. That's what's on display, not only in France, not only in Canada, but certainly in Spain. Spain is a communist nation. They're socialist, communist, whatever word you want to throw at it. And this guy is the leader of that situation. So how could America and its corporations possibly be willing to back down? I asked that question because it's not just Elon Musk. We're talking about Facebook. We're talking about Microsoft.
On a side note, if you ever wonder why Disney didn't build a park in Spain, that's why.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's why.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, when you look at the exceptions to free speech in French law, here's a good one: contempt of public officials. That's actually in their law. If you express contempt for public officials, it can lead to convictions for vaguely defined offenses.
How dare you? How dare you?
So there you go. Yeah. That's what they think is important to not protect.
So here's what I think is happening. Lauren, you tell me if I'm wrong on this. I think that Europe, and this saddens me, but I think largely Europe is now anti-Western, despite having been the starting point for Westernism. I think that Europe is no longer about free speech whatsoever. But I also think, sadly, that Europe has sacrificed its ability to be part of the next century as a powerhouse. Europe has sidelined its power supplies. They have wiped out their manufacturing. They're not in a place where they're going to be able to be in the race with data centers versus China and the U.S. And so ultimately, I think that this is Europe giving its last gasp at a time when Elon's about to have more power than ever before and will be very, very influential. This is Europe trying its best to grab hold of him and contain him in one last effort?
Yes, I think I agree with that. Generally speaking, I think Elon is somebody who should have a level of protection that is commensurate with, say, a government official, because I think that there's a lot riding on his ability to continue to develop and provide the technologies that we're increasingly becoming reliant on. I think Europe.
And along that line, Lauren, just let me interject. You don't think these Europeans are watching what he's doing where in Ukraine, and where he said, okay, I'm going to turn on Starlink for everybody and screw the Russians, and got away with it? You don't think they're afraid he'll do the same thing to them?
I never made such a claim. In fact, I would argue that that is probably what should be going on right now. I think Elon could pull a page from Trump's playbook, similar to what he does with the tariffs, and say, okay, you don't want me to run X the way I see fit because it's not based in your country, it is governed by our laws, then I simply won't do business here. And that goes for any of the businesses that he has. They may think in the short term that that is a victory, but I think in the long term they would find that that's going to cause some unrest, especially with the Europeans being as in favor of green technology as they are.
What do you think about the idea that Elon with SpaceX and XAI combined together, which is X, it's the Colossus supercomputer with all the information out there, and then the satellites combined with this?
Well,
what do you make of this idea that he can bypass all of these European countries and they know it?
This is where I take a different view than you. It's like, in the short term, perhaps, but where you see he is protecting himself by placing himself above terrestrial limits. I used to have those kinds of opinions when it came to governing the internet. I thought that at the time that we were first building out, that it was going to be ungovernable in the sense that the government would not be able to centralize control over it in many ways. And I vastly underestimated the government. And
the government, and I did too, Lauren. I'm exactly with you. They recognize the power, and by golly, the West, what was once the West, and could have been us, by the way, without things that have happened. They took control of the internet, and they took control of the digital town square.
Yes, well, and I would say, in addition to that, the danger that you have by trying to place yourself beyond terrestrial control is that now nations begin trying to assert extraterrestrial control, and that just becomes another front.
Yep.
Okay, but guess who has extraterrestrial control because of his affiliation with the U.S. military and NASA?
Iron Man.
His name's Elon Musk. And look, I don't want to push back too hard because you guys are having a great conversation, but I'm just going to say,
be a part of it, culture. Hop in. What you got? Don't hold back.
You're looking at a guy that's going to end up being not only the world's first trillionaire, but he's going to have a couple of corporations that'll be trillionaire revenue generators. Right? I mean, XAI and SpaceX joining together with an IPO is immediately going to be one of the two most valuable corporations in the world.
They're estimating it'll get $2 to $4 trillion.
Yeah, and so go ahead.
That's absolutely wonderful, but realistically speaking, we have a tendency to overestimate our own technology. And I don't know if you've noticed, but the atmosphere and super atmosphere is a giant junkyard. Those great big satellites and everything that you're relying on can be taken out by high-speed BBs in that environment. And so I think what may happen—
That's an act of war. That would be an act of war because it's part of a national security infrastructure.
I agree.
So
what do you think the situation is leading to on the ground right now? Look at the state the world is in.
Venezuela.
Do you think that the EU and China and Russia and all of them are just going to quietly expire? Because I don't. I think that eventually everybody starts making the calculation that the only thing that we can do to shift resources and put them into play is eventually a war.
See, I think, let me throw this in real quick, and I'll bow out and let you guys have at it. But I think that there are essentially three major forces going in the future with technology and media, and that involves free speech. The U.S. and China are definitely two different systems at play, right? And China is suffering at the moment. The U.S., shockingly, may be in the lead when it comes to AI, and that's for all the marbles. Okay. But Europe wants to be in play. Europe is like, we were, for centuries, we matter, right? And they don't. And the only play they have is to try to choke out one of the most powerful men in the world. Okay, I'm out. You guys take it.
Look, and I agree with you on where power is structured and how it is on the globe. But I'm going to point out that the financial power in the world up until very recently was the UK. Everything in Europe self-crippled. I'm sorry. They did. They bought into the green dream of bologna sausage, and, they wanted their green eggs and ham, and it doesn't pay off, and it ends up usually with you on the toilet for several days. But it did, to be fair. I mean, if you take a look at the economies of Europe, they're trashed.
Germany wiped out their manufacturing and their energy by getting rid of nuclear, and now they buy nuclear power from other places. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, and look, I mean, right now there's an argument in Mexico about whether or not to get U.S. natural gas. How's that an argument? You need power so you can do things and make things. And so
even the cartels like to have the lights on at night.
Yeah, well, exactly.
A cartel member without his nightlight is a very sad cartel member indeed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But again, it's broader conversations, and I understand where you're coming from, Lauren. And look, I know from where war is born. But when I look at the global situation, and I do pretty much every single day, I look at the fact that every other nation's trying to duplicate what Elon's doing, and I'm not saying company, I'm saying nation. Nations are competing with Elon Musk. That's where he is.
Elon Musk represents 80% of the space travel on the globe.
Well, and it's not just that. It's the fact that he did the thing that was done back in the 40s. He created the world's largest brain drain. Most people don't know that, but he went out and got the best and the brightest. He went and got every engineer
we have Lauren, so he's clearly missing.
I will only point out that all this talk of knocking things out of the sky in space, and Blofeld did it twice.
Oh, for sure. Hey, look, I mean, the guy that I'm most afraid of,
you only live twice. And
lest we bloviate on Blofeld for a minute, let's bring this back to free speech for us for the wrap up, guys.
Yeah,
because we do have to wrap it up. But I think this is about free speech. I think that the United States deviated from the global plan, and Europe is trying to get back the reinforcement of we're going to only allow orthodoxy online. And no. You don't think that's what's happening?
No, I think that's what they're trying to do, but you're not going to be able to enforce that in this day and age. And I'm telling you right now, they walked over to the WEF in Davos, and they had multiple countries and the president of the United States tell them to their face, you guys are over. Stop playing around, or we're going to show you.
They're terrified, though, and Lauren, you get final word. They're terrified, and they'll go to extreme lengths because Elon, along with others, are pushing for und Upstein files to go out there. And if you think that's the end of what's going to be found, this is the beginning of the string of corruption that goes all over the world, and they don't want that tug too hard, Lauren. No.
Well, the other issue is that I agree with you. He went to Davos. He told them exactly what the situation is, which they have been in denial about since the end of World War II. They have had a cushy welfare state. They have had a common defense that has largely been provided by us. And
while they stick their noses up, yep.
And they don't want that arrangement to change. I agree with that. And in fact, through his forceful personality and being able to lay out the facts in the way that he did, he got what he wanted out of the Greenland deal.
Yeah.
But that's why the midterms are so vitally important.
I agree with you.
Is that if I don't know that any coalition of the type that has been built right now can hold together. And I don't know that there's any other personality like a Trump that can get the stated objective pushed through the machinery of state the way that he has. And that's my concern. I fear what we have with Trump is just a temporary reprieve.
I think
that depends. Culture, I gave this man the last word, and here you come again. What do you want? No. I'll give you 30 seconds on the clock. Go.
All I'm going to say is he picked the perfect vice presidential candidate, a man who speaks technology, a man who is multicultural in and of his love of not just women but his children and the future of the globe. So when I look at the future, I see a man who can shut down stupidity in limited number of words, and
5 seconds.
Unlike me, can get to the point faster.
Lauren, 10 seconds. Go.
There you go.
I agree with you on his vice presidential pick. He can explain the policy and the ridiculousness of the opposition like nobody else. I don't know if he's a guy that can pull the trigger, say, on somebody like a Soleimani. I don't know if he's someone that has that type of a scrapper instinct. And I think you need both of those things.
I'm calling
Read his book. Read his book.
Pro gets the final word here, because if I don't, you guys are going to fight over it. Final word: if Elon is in any way successful, this new company will be in the top 5 easily. Not just of all companies, probably number 1 or number 2 there. It'll be in the top 5 of entertainment media companies. Folks, it's time to bid you adieu, but we hope that you will help us anew, and that is, we're only asking you click that like button. Share, subscribe, click it, stick it to those algorithms. It is the notification bell, and drop a comment down below. And oh, by the way, have you gone the way of thatparkplace.com? www.thatparkplace.com. It's the website that if you're not yet bookmarked to, well, you should be. A bastion of truth and knowledge when it comes to entertainment and everything that's going on. Go check it out today, folks. We would love to have you over there as well. All right, we are getting ready to head out, but do not fret, for we will put out 4 more videos tomorrow, so long as the good Lord allows. And we believe that probably, just might, happen. All right, until the next time we get to share time with you, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.